Apart from flowers being bisexual and unisexual, we can even have flowers with or without stalk. Like here you can see two examples of flowers, but they do not have a stalk to them. They directly attach to the stem. So those flowers which are without stalk are called as sessile. So this is one category of flowers, that is they do not have stalk. We find that there are some flowers which have stalk. They are with stalk. Like here you have the rose and you have a stalk to it. This is hibiscus. It also shows presence of a stalk to it. So such flowers that are with stalk for their support are called as pedicellate flowers. Here you can even see very clearly the calyx. Here this green portion which you are seeing, which is a protective whorl, accessory whorl, and this is the green portion, that is calyx. Corolla, we can see here the colorful petals which are for attraction of the insects. Then in this flower you can even see the androecium and gynoecium part. Firstly, let us see about the gynoecium. The gynoecium, that is carpel. It comprises of the sticky stigma on the top here, and this is the style. Ovary is present here. Right now it is not visible. So stigma, style, this is the style, and the ovary, that is gynoecium, the female reproductive part, and androecium now, that is stamen, which comprises of anther and the filament. So here this yellow colored anthers, you can see anther lobes. Inside it you have the pollen grains, and very thin thread-like structures that you are seeing here are the filament. So anther and filament are the two parts of the androecium, or the male part of the flower. So here we have studied about flowers which are with stalk and those which are without stalk. Before we study sexual reproduction in plants, there is another important term that we need to understand, and that is pollination. The process of transfer of pollen grains from anther to stigma is called pollination. So just now we have seen where the androecium and gynoecium are and what they comprise of. So here we have the stamen part, that is androecium, which comprises of anther and filament. So the anther comprises of pollen grains which contain male gametes. So on maturity, the anther lobes, they burst and the pollen grains are released. So the pollen grains, they are carried to the stigma and they get deposited. So this process of transfer of pollen grains from the anther to the stigma is called as pollination. We have two types of pollination. One is called as self-pollination and the other is called as cross-pollination. Now let us see what self and cross-pollination are. Self-pollination, when pollination, that is transfer of pollen grains from anther to stigma, involves only one flower or two flowers borne on same plant. It is called self-pollination. So the process of self-pollination can take place in same flower. That is, in this flower, for example, the pollen grains will be deposited on the stigma. But there is another way in which self-pollination can take place, that is, the pollen grains from one of the flowers on the plant get deposited on the stigma of another flower but on the same plant. So this is what we call it as self-pollination. So we can even say that the plant fertilizes its own eggs. So why are we saying this? Because the anther are getting deposited on the stigma either of the same flower or another flower on the same plant. So the plant is fertilizing its own eggs. So this is what is what we call it as self-pollination. The second way in which pollination is brought about is cross-pollination. When pollination involves flowers borne on different plants but of same species, it is called as cross-pollination. So if we assume that these two flowers are present on two different plants but they are of the same species. Now if the pollen grains from the anther are getting transferred to the stigma of another flower on another plant, then it will be called as cross-pollination. So this is what we refer it to as cross-pollination. That is when the pollen grains from one of the flowers on one of the plants gets transferred to the stigma of another flower on another plant. So this is what is cross-pollination. Now how are the pollen grains going to be transferred from one flower to another? So we have different agencies which bring about this transfer of pollen grains. Firstly, we have wind. Pollen grains are very light and they can be carried by slightest breeze. And so wind is one of the agencies of cross-pollination. Secondly, birds and insects visit flowers for nectar. And while sucking the nectar, the pollen grains get stuck to their wings. And when they go from one flower to another, they deposit the pollen grains. Water is also another agency of cross-pollination. So it is through these mediums that the pollen grains on one of the flowers get transferred to another flower on another plant. So in short, these are the two ways in which pollination is brought about. In the next class, we will be studying about sexual reproduction in plants in detail. Till then, thank you.